All right, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to be giving away my link building blueprint that I've used to rank hundreds of sites on Google at this point in time. I've used this process repeatedly over the years. Here are some pictures right here from a LinkedIn post I made a while back. I used to make a lot more of these posts, but it's really the same thing over and over and over again, so I figured people will get bored of it. Congratulations, you ranked another site using link building. But of course, it's highly useful, and it's actually incredibly easy once you get these basic concepts down. So I'm going to be going over month by month exactly what types of links to build, when to build them, how to build them. And definitely be sure to watch to the end because I'm going to cover some shortcuts or hacks or whatever you want to call them, things that can dramatically decrease your time to rank on Google. All right, let's get into it. So I'm Chris Giges, and you may know me from my link building agency over at sirlinksalot.co or our other YouTube channel or Facebook group. Or maybe you've seen me around on some podcasts or at some SEO conferences, but you can go to my website for more information on me. So I'm going to be using this graph right here just for some illustrative purposes. And we'll go ahead and start with month number 1, which will be foundational link building. So your website will be somewhere around here. You basically won't have any traffic at all yet. But if you're past month 1 and you haven't done your foundational link building already and you're somewhere up here, you already have some traffic, you can go ahead and do this anytime. It doesn't really matter. Better to go ahead and get it done anyways. So for month 1 for this foundational link building, these things aren't really going to do much to boost your rankings unless you're in a really low competition niche. It might really be all that you need for link building. But this stuff is just highly natural. It's things that normal websites get at the very beginning of the link building process. You start getting bots on your website, crawling it, getting everything indexed, passing some link juice to your website. And there's really a ton of different kinds of backlinks you can build for foundational link building. So I'm just going to be going over them very quickly. And I'm going to be going over my favorites first, and then I'll cover some other things. And it's good to know that most of foundational link building can be done for very cheap or for free if you have enough time to do it yourself. There are some things that'll cost money in here, but we'll cover that as well. So first of all, when you're doing these foundational links, you're going to be linking to your homepage only, and you are going to be using natural anchors only, meaning branded anchors, URL anchors, or generic anchors. Branded anchors would of course be things like your brand name. So if our brand name is Sir Links a Lot, so we could just use the anchor text Sir Links a Lot when creating the backlink. URL anchor would be something like https sirlinksalot.co or www if your website has that. And then a generic anchor could be something like click here or more information. And there are variations of all of these things as well. So for example, for branded anchors, I could do something like Sir Links a Lot, at Sir Links a Lot, by Sir Links a Lot, or a million different variations where we're just including something with the brand name. And you can even do misspellings of your brand name as well. For URL anchors, variations could include things like www or https or not. And then of course for generic, there are about a million different kinds of generic anchors, but branded and URL should be the ones that you spend most of your time doing. And I prefer to use branded anchors whenever necessary. This is by far the most natural type of anchor text for your website to get, especially to the homepage. The first type of foundational link building I like to do are social profiles. I like to set up my main ones manually, and then you can order about 50 or 100 more, whether you do it through an agency or a VA or whatever. Google, of course, has this patent here saying that they are looking at social profiles to determine the entity of a business or person. And so your main social profiles would be things like your Facebook page, your Instagram, your Twitter, maybe YouTube, all the big ones, right? All you do is sign up with your business, fill out your profile, get an image and everything, and you're going to post a link to your website there. This is a social profile backlink. Like I said, I like to set up the main ones manually just because they are super important. You'll probably be using them. Then you can just do a ton more. There are a million different networks out there that you can sign up for and create these profiles on. They aren't really that important. Maybe you'll use them later. Maybe you won't. Just get them set up. It's really easy to do. Just takes a little bit of time. Next up, I like creating some social signals. And you can create social signals by just posting a link to your website somewhere on a social media account. It can be like your Facebook page, your Twitter, whatever. You're just posting a link to your website from your social media. And then bonus points if you can get likes, comments, and shares on this post of your link. You can do this on stuff like Reddit, X, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever. It's important to note that social signals are not really the same thing as a backlink. However, you are going to be getting bots crawling to your website and potentially people clicking over as well if you're doing it correctly, right? Next up, we have citations, and I like to do these if you have a local-based website or not. I've been told that a lot of the times non-local websites will just use a random address, and that's just fine. I'm not telling you to do that, but people do it. Of course, some big ones are things like Yelp or Yellow Pages. You can just Google something like citations SEO list like I've done here, and you'll get a bunch of different ideas for citations you can do if you're doing these yourself. Or you can buy them from a provider super cheap. But you definitely want to make sure you do get set up on the big ones, especially if you're a local business. If you're not local, you don't really need to worry about the big ones. You can just do all the cheap, easy ones, right? You just sign up with your business name, your address, and your phone number, and you create a business description, put an image in there, and a link to your website, kind of like a social profile, just has your name, address, and phone number. When you're building them, also be sure to make sure that the address is consistent across all of the citations that you're building, or just all the information in general. Like I said, I'd like to build about 50 to 100 of the normal or easy ones. And then if you're local, you could consider getting a BBB link as well. The downside to Better Business Bureau links is that they can be quite expensive, and depending on what your business is, you might not really want to do it, and the result can be kind of iffy. But if you look at your competitors and all your competitors have BBB links, then you should probably grab one as well. For non-local sites, wouldn't worry about this at all. Next up, we have niche directories, which are very similar to citations, but citations tend to be these very big general sites that just have everything on them. Niche directories will be for one specific thing. For example, if you are a plumber, you could Google something like plumber directory, and you'll just find a bunch of examples here of different plumbing directories that you could get links from. Some of these might be paid, and that's okay. You'll have to determine if the cost is worth it to you, but really they're not worth too much. But if all of your competitors are on a certain niche directory, then you should probably be too, and probably just fork out whatever the cost is. Next up, we have press releases, and press releases are my favorite kind of foundational backlink. You basically get about 50 to 150, maybe even more backlinks indexed on these kind of news websites. You create one press release and then it syndicates through their entire network of websites and can get picked up by some bigger ones as well. Over at my link building agency, we actually offer these insanely cheap press releases just for SEO purposes. You can go find press releases that are quite a bit more expensive, ranging anywhere from $500 to even over $1,000. And on these more expensive ones, they might guarantee placements on bigger news sites like MSN or Yahoo or whatever. So you could do that, or you could just do this cheap method. I honestly don't think there's much of an SEO impact at all from doing the more expensive ones versus the cheap ones. I'm just trying to get a bunch of these indexed natural links in. But if you want to impress a client or you really want to be featured on some bigger publications, you can do that as well. And there probably is a little bit of a difference, but I don't really think it's that much just because they are these foundational kind of links that anyone can get. Anyone can do a press release. You just got to go and pay the money. So Google knows this, right? So those 5 things are my favorite types of foundational backlinks: social profiles, social signals, citations, niche directories, and press releases. But there are more than that, and you don't have to do these. These are optional. I think you should pretty much use most of them only in moderation, and they're really not necessary, but you can do them if you want to. Doing more of them will just add in more link diversity and a little bit more randomness and naturalness to your website, right? First of all, we have blog comments and forum comments, and you see a lot of people like to poo-poo on these things and say they're not good and you shouldn't do them. The reason a lot of people say this is because normally if you buy a service for blog comments or forum comments, they are horrible. Every time I've looked up a blog comment or forum comment service on Fiverr or Legit or whatever, it's just been absolutely trash. These spammed out websites, and you definitely don't want to do that. So if you are going to do these, I would recommend just doing them yourself or hiring a VA to do them, giving them very strict instructions. Only do a few of them because it can take quite a long time to do these and not really worth that much for your rankings, and do them in a non-spammy way. Remember, linking to your homepage only, natural anchor text only. When you're doing a blog comment, don't have your keyword as your name so you get an exact match anchor. Don't do that. Just have your brand name as your name or a person's name that works at the company. And you're actually going to have to leave a good comment that gets approved on a non-spammed out website. You don't want to just go to leave a blog comment on a page that has thousands of blog comments that anyone can go and has no approval process. And for forum comments, you're going to want to do it in a non-spammy way as well, or they're just going to delete your post. Make sure you're on a niche relevant forum or a niche relevant post. Leave good comments, and then you can drop your link in there as naturally as possible. Again, you're going to have to do these naturally, or people are just going to not approve it, or you're going to get deleted and banned from the forum. Next up, we have Web 2.0s. If you're going to do these, don't do many. You can just do 5 or 10 if you wanted to, but don't go crazy. Web 2.0s are websites like Blogspot, where you can sign up and create your own mini website on their website. It's on a subdomain. Here's a better example here. They're actually on the subdomain up here, so you don't get the power of the root domain. But you get to create your own mini website. You can create a few content pieces related to your niche, and then you can drop some backlinks to your website. But just do it naturally. Don't go crazy with the link building. Don't put a million backlinks in here. Don't build a ton of these things. This was highly abused in the past, so Google knows what's up. Just don't go crazy with it. Next up, we have Q&A links. That could be stuff like Quora. You can just go onto Quora, drop some comments on Quora questions, and put links to your website there. Next up, we have audio video. I guess I could kind of put this one at the top because I actually really like building video links. So of course, the best type of video link example is YouTube. Here's my video that I made yesterday on Reddit Topical Authority. Of course, when you click the video description, there are going to be links to my website and other stuff in there. This is a video link. Anyone can go and create a video and drop links in the descriptions. But there are other websites you can do this on as well. For example, Vimeo or Rumble. And then there are some music websites that do like audio only. For example, SoundCloud. And by the way, guys, while we're over here, if you like the video, go ahead and give the video a like and give my channel a sub. Next up, we have slideshow links and cloud stacking, which aren't really things that I do too often, but some people do. If you remember this DR boosting gig video that I made, there were a bunch of different slideshow sites on here. For example, this one, Flip HTML5. Just go and create slideshows and you can drop links in it. And then as far as cloud stacking, they are just creating documents on different document sharing websites like Google Drive or Dropbox or whatever. And you can put links in those documents and make them public. Like I said, I don't really do this, but some people do. Next up, you could create posts on things like LinkedIn Pulse or Medium. Of course, LinkedIn's traffic is surging recently, and Medium is as well. You can go sign up on Medium or LinkedIn if you have an account already and just create an article. It's pretty easy. Drop links to your website. Wouldn't do a ton of these things either, maybe just one or two. And lastly, we have review sites like Trustpilot. You go over there, sign up, set up your profile. So there are a bunch of things here, and this makes it sound kind of confusing, but like I said, it's just adding a bunch of randomness and diversity to your link profile. You don't got to do all this stuff. The big ones were the ones I mentioned up here. Next up, let's talk about force indexing. A lot of people like to force index links like citations or whatever just to try to make them get indexed because they think that doesn't matter if they aren't indexed. They think that Google doesn't see them. I don't think that's the case at all. I actually never force index any kind of pillow links. I just create them and forget about them. Prefer to be as natural as possible when I'm doing these things rather than trying to force Google to like something that it knows is low value. And all of these pillow links or foundational links, whatever you want to call them, are essentially low value. Google knows that anyone can go and create these things, so they can't weight them very heavily. Of course, your main social profile is a little bit different though, right? If you want some help with this, we actually build most of these types of links ourselves over at Links a lot, and we also have these diversity links packs and pillow links packs, which are packs of 20 of 30 different kinds of foundational links. And lastly, you could start slowly building guest posts or niche edits, aka link insertions or Haro backlinks during month one. If you are going to build them during month one, just be super natural, homepage only, natural anchors only, and don't build a ton of them. And we'll be talking about this a lot more here in the second month. So that ties up month one. There's a ton of stuff here, but it's really not as complicated as it sounds. There's just probably a bunch of stuff you haven't really heard about before, but they're all really easy to make. So month one, we are being super natural. We are laying the foundation. We are creating some link diversity, and we're getting ready for the ongoing link building, the big boys that are going to be coming on month two and so on. So back to our example over here, let's say we are in month two now, and we're starting to gain a little bit of traffic. Maybe we have like 100 traffic or so, not really too much. Or maybe you're still at zero. It can really take a long time a lot of the times for Google to start giving you traffic. So during month two, we are going to be building links to our homepage only still. We're going to be using natural anchors only still. That's URL anchors, branded anchors, generic anchors. And yeah, we probably don't have any traffic yet. However, we are going to start building the links that really move the needle. And those are a guest post, niche edits or link insertions, and Haro backlinks. Detailing exactly how to build these links is outside the scope of the video, but just know it's going to take considerable time and effort or money to build these things. They are very valuable and they will drastically increase your rankings. Some videos you could check out on my channel about this are this one, 150 quality guest post sites, 100% free link building outreach, link building scams, 20 off-page eat tactics, steal your competitor SEO and links, free backlinks that rank, and there's a bunch on here. So yeah, you could just go ahead and watch all this stuff for a much better idea on how to build these types of links. But the big difference between these links and the foundational links that we are building are that these types of links are actually on other people's websites, blogs that you cannot just sign up and go and post on. Most of the time, you're going to be getting these links through outreach, which is essentially emailing and negotiating and trying to convince them to post content on their website or edit a link into their website. You get them from a trusted provider like us over at Links a lot, or you can do them yourself, but it is going to take some tools usually. You can do it for free, except, for the most part, this is a numbers game to getting these types of links. So tools really help out a lot, or you could get a VA that you've trained to do this, steal your competitors' links. You can do skyscraper outreach, and you could also create link bait articles, but we're not really going to talk about link bait articles too much in this video because creating link bait articles requires that you actually rank articles first. So you can't get links naturally to your articles until you're already ranking. So we're focusing on actually building links ourselves first. But creating link bait articles that naturally attract backlinks are a really good thing to do into the future. So just to recap, for month two, we're doing guest posts, niche edits, and Haro, homepage only, natural anchors only. All right, so now we'll do month three and onward. So let's say your traffic is really starting to go up. Maybe you've got less than 1,000 traffic, but really your site's really starting to rank for some stuff. Maybe you're up here, whatever. The point is that your site is slowly starting to build traffic and you're actually starting to rank. Once you start gaining more traffic, you can start being more aggressive. You don't want to get too aggressive too quickly, and I'll go over this in a second, but basically, the more traffic you get, the more aggressive you can get. But especially in the beginning, we want to be very conservative. So month three and onwards, we are still focusing on guest posts, niche edits, and Haro. But here's what I'm talking about being very conservative versus being aggressive. So the most conservative you could get would be building 100% links to your homepage. Then you could do something like 80% posts or 90% of your posts to your homepage, and then maybe 20% of your links going to things that are not your homepage. So maybe your product pages or your service pages or your blog posts, anything else that's not your homepage. And as your site gets more traffic, this ratio can change, right? So maybe when you really have a lot of traffic, maybe you're only doing 50% of your links to your homepage and then 50% of your links to your inner pages. And usually I don't like to do less than 50% of my link building to my homepage in any given month. You can, but it's not something I generally do. Your homepage is just such a natural and good target for link building. It's just the most natural page on your website for any website to get links to. This is where a lot of people mess up because they just want to slam their pages that they want to rank with links, so that's very unnatural in most cases. So make sure you've got good internal linking and do a lot of homepage linking. Linking to your homepage will help raise the authority of your entire website, which will help all pages on your website rank, not just your homepage. And it'll keep you out of trouble as well, and will help falling into an unnatural link building pattern and getting any kind of penalty or something like that. So other than your homepage, some good link targets are, of course, your money pages, your category pages, or your product pages if you're doing e-com. Hub pages could be any page on your website that just links out to a bunch of other things. So for example, your blog page, or maybe you've got some kind of pillar post that links to a bunch of different content pieces from it. Link bait articles are a good thing because these are articles that naturally get a lot of backlinks. So it can be very natural to just hit these pages very hard with a lot of backlinks without appearing unnatural. You'll have to do some analysis in your niche to determine what types of pages are getting lots of links. You can come over to Ahrefs Content Explorer and just hit in your main keyword and then just look for articles that are attracting a lot of backlinks and try to write similar content. Like always, analyze your competitors to see what's natural. So if you are in e-com and you want to send links to your product page, go and look at other product pages in your niche. Actually type in your keyword, look at the top rankers and see how many backlinks they have. So I've typed in something like blue shoes for little boys, just very random keyword, right? And scrolling down, you can see the number 1 ranker right here has 0 referring domains going to this page. The number 2 ranker only has 3 referring domains. So if you go in and you build 10 or 20 backlinks to your page that you want to rank for this is highly unnatural. This is what you want to avoid. So when in doubt, look at your competition first and build more links to your homepage. Or some of these other pages that make more sense, like category pages generally get a lot more links than product pages. Like I mentioned before, internal linking is a must. Internal linking are the links on your own website that, you'll send them from one blog post to another blog post or from your blog post to your service page. And this helps link juice flow around your website. So if you build a bunch of links to a blog post and then you have an internal link going to one of your service pages, this will help your service page rank because the link juice will flow there. And also go ahead and add here supporting content. So supporting content can really just be content that's related to the thing you really want to rank. And most blog content really is just supporting content. So for example, on our website, of course, we will want to rank our guest post service page because we want people to come and buy guest posts from us. So on our blog, we could create a bunch of supporting content, which is something like what are guest posts, how to build guest posts, are guest posts still good in 2024, common guest post mistakes, all this stuff are different articles that we can build on our website. That'll help increase our topical relevance. And they also make good backlink targets because we don't have to keep slamming this one service page with backlinks. We can build backlinks to those blog posts as well, have internal links going to the service page, and then the link juice will flow here without having to spam this page out and doing something very unnatural. Next up, for month 3 and onwards, you can start using some exact match and partial match anchors. Of course, if your site is getting traffic, the more traffic that your site has, the more of these things that you can build. However, you will only want to build a small portion of exact match and partial match anchors. These are not very natural to get. Yes, they are powerful. Yes, they can help you rank, but you don't want to just keep slamming exact match anchors. An exact match anchor for the page we were just talking about would be something like buy guest posts or maybe guest post service. So I will want to build these anchors at some point, but I want to keep this percentage very small and I don't want to keep building the same anchor text over and over and over again. You want to have variations of your anchor text and have a lot of natural stuff in there as well that is not just exact match or partial match anchors. Do not get super aggressive with your anchor text. This is probably the biggest mistake we see people make with link building is they really try to hammer a bunch of exact match and partial match anchors. Highly unnatural, will get you in trouble. So really, like I mentioned before, we're really doing all of our foundational linking down here. Your site's going to slowly start getting some traffic. We're starting to build guest posts and link insertions all to the homepage. The site's going to start getting even more and more and more traffic. Now we're going to start linking to our inner pages slowly. Maybe we're only like 80% homepage, 20% inner pages now. Now we're getting up more and more. Maybe we're doing 60% homepage, 40%. Maybe up here, we're doing something like 50% homepage, 50% inner pages. And then maybe the next month we're doing 90% homepage again. You don't have to do the same thing every month. And really, I wouldn't want to do 50-50 every month. I'd go back, and if I did 50-50 one month, I'd probably do, like 80-20 the next month or 70-30, whatever. So let's talk about some best practices real quick, and then we'll get to the bonus hacks down here at the bottom. So for best practices, the first thing we're going to talk about is link diversity. This is using a bunch of different kinds of backlinks. So you're not going to want to use just guest posts. You're not going to want to use just link insertions. You're not going to want to do just Haro. You're not going to want to do, hopefully you're really not trying to do just Web 2.0 spam or just a bunch of social profiles or whatever. Having a diverse mix of links is natural. So that is what we want to do when we are building links. We want to try to appear as natural as possible so we don't have any problems with Google. The name of the game is emulating natural backlink profiles. Next up, anchor text diversity. We were just talking about this. You don't want to use the same anchor text over and over. The exception here will really be like branded anchors and URL anchors. But other than that, you're really not going to want to use the same anchor over and over. It's okay if you do every now and then, but you just don't want to do it too much. You go look up some websites' natural backlink profiles and just see what their anchor text looks like. And you'll notice that if it's a website that's ranking high and it's been there for a while, their anchor text is going to be pretty natural. And a bunch of different stuff, not just the same thing over and over again. Next up, target URL diversity. You're not going to want to just slam the one service page over and over. Yes, we want this guest post page to rank, but I'm not going to just keep slamming it over and over. We're going to link to our supporting content, our hub pages, our home page, all this other stuff with good internal linking to help this page rank instead of just doing link again and again and again to this page. When in doubt, be natural. So if you're watching this video, there's a good chance that you are not advanced at link building and you want to be as natural as possible. This means that you should be conservative instead of being aggressive. This means more homepage links than maybe I would do. This means using more natural anchor text than maybe I would do. Less exact match anchors, less partial match anchors. Be natural, branded anchors, URL anchors, generic anchors, some long tail stuff, a bunch of variations of everything. You can still rank very well by being natural. It's much safer for you to be natural than to try to be aggressive. We have our managed link building service over here. It's our completely done for you service. And I really can't explain. There are so many websites that we see people trying to be too aggressive and then they come to us because they get a penalty or they just aren't going anywhere and they've wasted all this time and money and they're just not getting ranking results. And a large portion of the time, it just comes down to them doing unnatural link building, trying to be very aggressive. So when in doubt, please be natural. And quickly, let's go over some bonus hacks. These hacks could dramatically decrease your time to ranking or just a little bit more advanced stuff. But yeah, let's get into it. First up, we have spam. You can use spam. You can use bad backlinks to help your rankings. This is an advanced tactic. This is a black hat tactic. You can get some links from Fiverr and they can help you if they're used in conjunction with good link building. We've got this affiliate case study on our website where we did this very thing. I think it ended up getting to about 40K traffic for the case study. But essentially what we did is we blended some kind of black hat spam stuff, some very cheap stuff in with a bunch of very quality links at the same time. If you're a beginner, I really can't recommend you do this at all. But for the more advanced people out there, it's definitely something you can consider. Next up, we have 301 redirects, and 301 redirects are probably the single biggest hack to backlinks and ranking results in SEO. I did a different video on my channel recently, but here's this website, Catster, that did a 301 redirect. You can see exactly where the 301 redirect kicked in right here. They went from about 150K traffic up to about 1.1 million. What a 301 redirect is you buy a domain, an age domain, a domain that already has a bunch of backlinks going to it. You then point the entire domain at your new domain. And so essentially you will get credit for all of these referring domains, all of these backlinks from the previous domain. Explaining this stuff is outside the scope of the video, of course, so go ahead and go to my channel for more information on 301s. Also, instead of doing a 301 redirect, you could buy an aged or expired domain, and then you could just build your website on top of that domain rather than pointing it and doing the 301 redirect, right? This is a great tactic as well. You still get credit for all of those old backlinks that the domain already had. So you're just getting thousands of backlinks all at once rather than having to build them over the years, and that'll take a lot of time and money, right? So this is probably the biggest hack to backlinks that there is right now. But buying a good aged domain can be kind of expensive, and expired domains tend to not work quite as well. They just have a higher chance of not working out. So again, kind of an advanced thing, but it works very, very, very well. Next up, we have digital PR. And digital PR is a type of link building where you essentially write content that's designed to go viral. Then you're outreaching to journalists, big journalists on big publications, and you're trying to get them to pick it up. Now, the thing about digital PR is the links that you can build from digital PR are insane. You're talking about getting links from some of the biggest websites on the internet. But the bad thing about digital PR is it's very hard to execute properly. And the agencies that do it tend to charge quite a bit. We're usually looking at a minimum of like $5,000 per campaign. So if you have a very large budget, you can actually start doing digital PR from the very beginning. You could start doing it in month 1 if you wanted to. If not, I really wouldn't mess with digital PR until you get to DR 40 or 50 or so, because you can get a lot of rankings a lot cheaper without having to do this. But if your budget does permit it, you could start this early as possible. And lastly, we have not talked about PBN links at all, but PBN links are still alive and well in 2024. This is for advanced people only, but they should only make up a small percentage of your backlink profile unless you're in a very like spammy, kind of like hardcore black hat niche like casino or gambling or adult or something like that. But for most people, I would say that PBN should really make up only about 5% or less of your backlink profile. The draw of PBNs is that they are powerful. However, they are highly unnatural. They're homepage links. They're links coming from the website's homepage on a rebuilt website that's only used for building backlinks. So if you're new to link building, I would just stay away from this. I know it's appealing because they are cheaper and they're powerful. However, they can get you in a lot of trouble. They're highly unnatural. So you should really know what you're doing when doing PBN link building and really make sure that you're doing stuff like your link diversity, anchor text diversity, target. You're doing all the best practices correctly, right? And when I'm doing like spam or kind of PBN black hat stuff, I also like to be very natural with them. So a lot of people like to send PBN to like their inner pages, their service pages with exact match anchors. I don't like doing that at all. I like sending them to things like my homepage with natural anchors because you're taking something that's very unnatural and you're making it a little bit more natural and just kind of trying to get the spotlight off of it and hope that Google doesn't notice it, right? But if you are advanced or you've got the budget, a lot of these things are things you can consider for your link building as well. But for most people, you're just going to want to do the basics. So we covered a ton of stuff here. This kind of took me a long time to make. Of all of our foundational link building in month 1, then we started month 2 with some very natural guest posts and link insertions, still going to the homepage. And then as time goes on and the site gets more and more traffic, we start linking more to our inner pages. We're still mainly doing guest posts, link insertions, and haro, but we start to get a little bit more aggressive with linking to inner pages and using more exact match, partial match anchor text. Like I mentioned in this LinkedIn post, we really have done this hundreds and hundreds of times. At this point, I really can't even count how many times we've done this and how many sites we've done it for. It just works like clockwork at this point. You're doing things in a very natural way to make sure you don't have any trouble with Google. All right, guys, if you liked the video, go ahead and give it a like and give my channel a subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.